Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back as always, and a huge massive thank you for the support. So today coming back with the members free gift currently at Hunkydory. You just have to sign in as a member, sign up, it's free, and you just pay the postage for the kit. I did buy the ultimate bundle, which is has the cardstock and the inserts and a few other bits and pieces in as well. So this one is called New Beginnings. So we've got 2 big toppers, 3 smaller toppers. We've got loads of sentiments. We've got happy birthday, thinking of you, here's to new beginnings, sit back, relax and enjoy every moment. And obviously this one is a sentiment as well, which is here's a little something to brighten your day. And you've also got a little sort of tag one there with some flowers on. The foiled cardstock has that little gnome with his little lamb there and a butterfly and that border, very cute. The printed cardstock is this blue knitted background, very cute. The inserts as part of the insert pack have got those corners on, and then you do get those double-sided printed papers as part of that insert pack. So I think we will play with this one first of all, so let's put that to the top. So I've got a different style of card today. I think I have done it on my channel once before, like ages and ages and ages ago, but I got reminded of it while I was doing something for the DT, so I thought I would have another little play with it. So I'm going to start. I'm going to need 2 pieces of the 6x12 cardstock, and I'm making a 5x7 card. So I'm going to start by just chopping that down to 5 inches, and then I'm going to go to 4.5, and I need 2 of those. And I've got another piece left over for another project. And then I'm going to take this second piece of cardstock. I'm going to cut it 7 first of all, because then we've got that piece that's 6 inches long, which I can use elsewhere. And then we're going to cut this to 5 inches. Okay, so you've got 2 pieces, one that's 5x7 and 2 pieces that are 5x4.5. And I think this is called a pop-up stand card. So we'll make the sort of card base first, and then we'll do all the cuttings for the layers. So nice and easy, this one really. So we're going to score. We've got the 4.5 at the top, so the long side, and we're going to score at 1, 2, 3 and 4. Could not be easier. And then the 4.5 at the top again. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And there's no scoring on the other piece at all. So let's just come in and give all of these a good burnish down, just making sure they are nice and square. That's the tab there. Same with this one. The tab. What I'm going to do is, I don't always do this, but just on the tab, just going to cut those corners in. So we've got sort of more of a tab shape. Let's get rid of those, and then I'm going to use some red liner tape. This is the wider one that I'm using. It's about 1/2 centimetre, I suppose. We'll just put a nice amount on there. Might as well do the other one at the same time. Okay. Now the easiest way to glue this together is to fold that over, so that strip is in the middle. Now I'm going to pop a little bit of tacky glue on just for a little bit of extra support. So I've just got a little end popping up there, and then all I'm going to do is pop that over. And you're going to end up with a little square like so. And then I'm going to do the same over here. Just pop that to the halfway point. A little bit of wet glue. And then we've got our second piece there. And then what I'm going to do is work out which way is going to be best for me to pop this on. And I think if I've got the tab at the top, when the card is up, you're not really going to see any of those joins. So I'm going to keep that piece towards me, and I'm going to pop another piece of a red liner tape on. Going to take that off, but be brave. Again, tacky glue, nice amount of tacky glue. Just make sure we get those corners. And then what I'm going to do is pop that on the very edge of my card and pop that down. And then what we're going to have is a card that looks like so. Okay. And then this one again, same deal. It's going to be best to go with that at the top. Again, a nice amount of this red liner tape. Pull the back off. Some tacky glue. And then I'm just going to pop this onto the other side. So now what you've got is a card that looks like so. Now it will stand on its own. What I will say is if it gets folded up like this to go in an envelope, which is the best way to send it because it's then going to go in a 5x7, when you pull it down it still has the memory to try and go up, so you're going to see it's not going to fold, stand up. But if you then go ahead and pop them down, you'll see it then goes back to standing up. So it might be worth it, if you are sending this to someone, just say to them, if they're saying, oh, I can't get it to stand up, just tell them to fold that down and then pop it back up, and it's going to stand perfectly like so. Okay, so let's do some layers for this. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to the side, bring that in a little bit so you can see it, but I will have to bring the arm out on the trimmer. So this is another one of those great things to use up bits of mirror card and such. So these pieces here are 1x5, so I'm going to take that to 2 notches under the one. A little bit of tape just to hold that in place. This bit I'm probably just going to get rid of. I don't think I'm going to have any use for the one that side. But I'm going to tuck that 2 notches under the 5, and I will decorate both sides. Okay, so I've got another piece here which looks like it's going to be perfect. So again, we'll pop that down. Oh, I have 2 bits there, that's a bit strange. Let me just take, so the ends on both of these are a bit battered, so if I take 2 notches there, so it's 2 notches under the 5 again, and then we've got a piece to go there. Let me just see, did I cut this? Oh, I think that's going to be fine. That was a little lucky. That one's fine, so that's going to go on the back. I just need one more. So again, 2 notches. and then 2 notches under the 5. And that's going to go there. And what I might also do is do some more to go on the inside, just as decoration, and also a bit of weight stability, because we are going to put 2 layers of gold on this, and then decorate one with the insert, one with some cardstock. So again, I'm just going to take a piece of the leftover card that I've got here, and this is going to be 2 notches under the 5, and it's going to be 2 notches under the 6, because it's 5 by 7, but we've got an inch on that base plate, so that's going to go on there nice and easy. We'll save those bits because I might need those in a minute. Just seeing if I've got another decent sized piece. Let's have a look at this. 2 notches under the 5. Not quite. Okay, so I've got this piece here. So 2 notches under the 5. I'll take a bit off that side there because that's battered. And then 2 notches under the 6. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in the cardstock. So again, we're going to be at 4 3/4. Nice and easy. And then I want that pretty bit at the bottom. 2. So that's going to be 5 3/4. Okay, that's nice. And then these bits are going to be 3/4 of an inch. And they should fit onto there quite nicely. I'm going to do one more of those. For the other side, and then I am going to bring in this lovely patterned, and I think it's going to be easier for me just to take 3/4 of an inch off that top, just to get the direction of the flowers, and then I can decide, do I want flowers, do I want plaid. I think I'm going to go with the sort of plaid. So I want 2 pieces that are going to be 4 3/4, and that's going to be on one on each side. And then lastly, what I need is, hidden it, the insert. Where are you? Come here. And we're going to cut this to 4 3/4. And then 5 3/4. Now probably will need to trim this, just take a little bit off. You can see how fluffy that's cut that. So we'll just bring in my guillotine. Now the chair's going to creak. Apologies about this. There we go. It does sound like my bones these days. But what I'm going to do is just take the little edge off, just to tidy that up, so it's no longer fluffy. And that's going to be very nice. Okay, so now we can come to assembling. So for the insert paper, I'm going to use the Dots tape pen and the Clow all-purpose glue, which is this sort of alcohol-based glue. And we'll pop that onto there. Oops. Give that a good press down. And then for the cardstock, I'm just going to use some tacky glue in those corners instead. You can use your tape pen if you prefer. And then we can just pop that on. Give that a press down. And then for these smaller bits, I will use the tape pen again. Just with them being smaller, it just seems to make them glue a little easier. And then a little bit of that all-purpose glue as well. Goes without saying, I always say it, but don't forget your masks and embossing folders for these plainer bits if you want to jazz those up. And the beauty about the tape pen is that you do get that sort of time to rearrange if you're not quite right first time. Although that all-purpose glue does give you the ability just to slide it about until you're happy. But if like that, where it's just caught a little faster than you want it to, you can then just pop that up and try it again. I might have to just move that off, so I'm just not quite happy with that one I've just put down, but I'll just do this. So I think this one just needs to go a little bit. Wasn't quite even on both sides. Right, okay. So these pieces here with the cardstock, what I'm going to do, I was going to put them on the top, but I'm going to put them on here. I just think that's going to be quite a nice weighty piece of card, and it's going to help stabilize the whole thing, because I am putting effectively 3 pieces of card on the top. Now, there goes Henry. And if you want to, you can decorate these before you pop them together. I always tend to like to do this while it's in situ, if you like, once it's been done, so I can just make sure I'm happy with that layout. But I can appreciate it does make it that little bit more fiddly if you have trouble with your hands. Oops. Yeah. Now the one I did that you may see in something coming up shortly, I did do these bigger. I did these 2, no, 1.5. So they were bigger sort of pieces at the bottom. So, you know, you can size these up. And I did that a 6x8 card as well. So, you know, remember, you can always size things up if you want to. You could even do them 1.5x7, and then you'd have a 6x7 space to decorate. I think I'm having a bit of a sugar rush at the moment because my hands are shaking. Hopefully that will set down in a minute. You can see that goes on there quite nicely. And I'm going to do the same on this other side. Now because we've got the insert on this side, it is that little bit less substantial because it's got a piece of paper instead of a piece of card like the other side. But once they are all together, they will be nice and stable. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just give that 5 minutes just to glue down, settle down, and then I'm going to come back, so bear with me. So I've just given that a couple of minutes, and I think it's okay. Obviously that's going to be the front. Like I say, I am going to put some more supports on that inside. It's just going to help that just support itself a little better. You can see sometimes it does list forward a little bit, but it will be fine, believe you me. It could just be because it is a little wet. But let's go ahead and pop some toppers on. I'm confident it will be fine. So I'm going to go, I think, with maybe this one. I did measure it and it did seem to feel like it would fit nicely. So let's just double check that. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Then I think I'll go with the sentiment with the guy that's got the same hat on in this corner. So this one is the sit back and relax. Sit back, relax and enjoy every moment. So that's going to go on the front there. I think we'll just do a couple of gems and it will be quite nice. So let's just trim those edges off. And we can pop him off. And they've done this frame different because the decoration is on the inside frame and the outside frame is just gold. That's not the way they usually do it. Let me just check the frame on the other one. So the other one is the usual way, but it's got different flowers on. It's got the same flowers that are in that one, so I'm not going to swap it over. Let's see. So normally what I would do would be have that bigger one and that larger one, and then the small in the middle. I'm thinking maybe we should have all of them then. Let's just have a little think about. Kind of liking that actually. That's going on the front, so we'll take that out of the picture. Let's just see it. Or I could just go how I had it before. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's go with some 1mm foam pads on here. It's quite a narrow frame, so it doesn't help if I drop them on the floor. But at least I can put them all the way around. Doesn't really matter where I put them. So I think last time they talked about the members gift, it was 80% gone, and although sometimes they do restock a club gift, in that it will be something different. I know before, when it ran out quite early, they felt bad about it and they did a different kit, one that they'd done before but with different foiling on, a long time ago or a while ago. There are no guarantees, so what I would say is, if you do like these gnomes and they are super cute, then sooner is better than later, because you don't want to miss out. So I'm just getting rid of some of these little pips there. Yeah, so you know, I'm not going to push you to buy something if you don't need it, don't want it, but if you are thinking about it, just be aware that it's like 2 weeks after they've launched it, maybe 2 weeks now. I think it's about 2 weeks. The days all go into one. It's hard to tell these days, but yeah, I'm sure it's about 2 weeks, and 80% has gone. So maybe you're thinking of getting an order. Maybe you like the blush one that was on Friday. You could pop it in and then you're not really paying any postage. Or if you're paying the postage, you're getting this bit for free. But yeah, it's quite a cool kit to play with, I have to be honest. And it's like, if you're making cards, you can't, although it's always nice to play with things that you like yourself, sometimes you have to like think, oh, what does Auntie Mary like? Does she like gnomes, you know? Or, you know, it's like, I don't like, personally, I don't like Art Deco. I know, I'm sorry, but I know so many other people that do. So I always do try and have a little bit of it. I may not buy a lot of it, but when I run out, I always try and keep a little bit, so there's something for people who like it, you know. And if you're selling cards, you know, you just have to be a little bit aware of that. Oh, I think that's going to be fine for pads. And those are 2mm, sorry, just too busy going on about other things. And I used to love gnomes, used to have loads. I've got, in the garden, I've got this massive, it's like a gnome lying down under a sign, and it is huge. I mean, it's bigger than this desk. I keep thinking, actually, I keep thinking that one day I'll paint it, because it's like a concrete one. So heavy though. Okay, so out there, I think. Okay, so I'm going to use these diamond sparkles. I've got these lovely navy ones. Love these navy ones. Wish they did these on their own. Love this colour. There is those. These are just the diamond sparkle ones. And that is going to be my finished card. Like I say, if you feel like you need to, you can always just use little offcuts, maybe those sky coloured one, or even a piece of adorable scoreable, and pop it on the bottom, and that will add a little extra weight to it. But what I would do now is I will put that somewhere so that that can dry flat. Because you can see it is trying to bow a little bit, but if I keep manoeuvring it, it will be fine, and it will stand on the shelf quite nicely. But just remember that tip I said about this. If you do fold it up like that to get in a card, make sure they know to pop it down, and then it will stand up quite nicely. But it does look nice on a shelf because it's very freestanding. And I suspect if you did this with acetate, and then did maybe something on one side and then matched it or hid it on the other side, it would be pretty cool. You would have to really think about how you were going to be putting things on, but that's that little stand and pop card. So hopefully you've liked that one. But what I'm going to do is get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, I kind of felt like I haven't done a stepper for a while. It probably has been not very long, but you know how I do love this simple stepper. So I'm going to have a go at doing that. And I think it's going to suit that sort of long topper quite well as well. And the sizing would be perfect. So I'm going to pop my card in, and I'm just popping it. So here's the cut line, and I'm just popping it into the 1 inch mark past that. Putting my blade at 1 inch, and I'm cutting all the way down to 7. And then I'm going to turn my card over, making sure my cut is at the bottom. And then I can cut from that 7 down to that 1. And then what I also like to do while that is in there is just pop that at the 6 inch mark. And just mark that, because it's really hard to find that on the scoreboard when because it's in between marks. So if I've got a guide there, it just makes it super easy. So let's bring in the scoreboard, and I'm popping it with the cut lines to the bottom, and I'm going to score at 1 to the line, 2 to the cut line, and 7 to the cut line. And then I'm going to turn it over, making sure again the cut lines are at the bottom here, starting at the bottom. And again we're going to go 1 to the cut line, 2 to the cut line, 7 to the cut line. And then where I put that mark in, just going to find that 6 inch mark. And we're just going to put that in and reinforce that so we get a nice crisp crease. Okay, and then we can just start to ease these in. And then we can just go in with our burnisher, give those a nice crisp burnish down. That way we're going to get a nice crisp fold to our card, making sure do those bottom creases underneath as well. And then that's how our card is going to stand. It's really simple, really nice, effective little stepper, this one. Okay, so let's bring in the trimmer, and I'm going to try and use up some of these odd pieces of gold that I've got here as well. So this piece along here, the front, is 1 by 6, so I'm going to take that to 2 notches under the 1 by 2 notches under the 6, and that's going to go nicely onto there. These pieces here are 1 by 5, so again I'm going to go 2 notches under the 1 and 2 notches under the 5, so I need 2 of those, 1 for each sort of arm. Here. And I'm just using the tape just as an extra arm, really, just to hold that in place. And that's 2 notches under the 5. And then we need a slightly bigger piece, which is going to be 2 notches under the 4 by 2 notches under the 5. And that's going to fit in this space here in the middle. Okay, so those are the gold mats. Then I think, let's have a little look. Okay, so I'm going to come in at 3 3/4, and I'm going to take that to 4 3/4. That's going to be our middle piece, although we are going to be pretty heavily decorating over that. And then if I take 3/4 inch and cut that to 5 3/4, that's going to go nicely along the bottom. And I think for the sides, I'm going to bring in that paper again, and we'll use the flowery side this time. So because I want the pattern going downways, I'm going to cut that to 3/4 inch. Don't know if I'll get 2 of these out of here. I suspect I won't. But 4 3/4. Yeah, too small. So do that one more time. 3/4 inch. And 4 3/4. And that is going to be the basis for our card. So let's go ahead and start doing some gluing. So for these smaller bits again, I'm going to use my dotted tape pen and that all-purpose. Again, if you've got, I know Crafter's Companion did have a beautiful knitted embossing folder. It'd be bigger knits than this, but it would like add a nice amount of pattern on there. There may be other ones. Spellbinders may do one. I just can't recall seeing it off the top of my head. Or there may be other companies as well. If you Google embossing folder and knitting, and you will see what comes up. So that's that one there. The sneeze, sorry. Apologies. Each year that goes on, I get more hay fevery. I'm currently taking some allergy tablets, but towards the end of the day, they sort of wear off a little bit. I don't know whether that's maybe because the levels are so high with all the nice weather and stuff. You can't moan, can you, when you sat outside in April in the sun? You have to put your sunglasses on because it's so bright. So I am kind of loving it. Okay, so those are now on there. So let's, sorry, I've got a bit of a sniffy nose now. So I'm going to use the dots again on here, I think, just with it being that smaller piece. I love this knitted cardstock. I think it's so pretty, especially on the adorable scoreable. Oops. Come on now. There we go, got it. And then these bits needs to go on. And like I always say is when you put these on, just make sure the top and the sides are looking good, because you won't see the bottom when the card is opened. So I'll make sure you've got your flowers on the right way up as well, which is what I just had a little panic moment about. So that's one, I'll show you what I mean. So when that's up, and even when the card is opened, you're not seeing any of the bottom of those layers at the bottom. So just make sure those your best layers are at the top. And this piece, we can go back to our normal glues. And pop this on. Okay, and you could put that at the bottom if you prefer. I don't know if I might actually. Let's just switch this around. Yeah, I think that's going to be better at the bottom. That's the brilliant thing about these glues, is that you do get that bit of time to change your mind if you want to. Okay, so that's how our little card is looking at the moment. So it looks nice even without any decoration on, but we're just going to take that to the next level with our little gnome with his lamb. And pop that one onto there, so that's going to go like so. And then I think we'll go with the daisy one, thinking of you. So I kind of feel like you probably would put at least 2 of these together, maybe with that sentiment. But you've still got 2 sentiments there and a little book of sentiments if you don't like any of those. Let's go ahead and put these on. So good. And this middle layer is super thin. I mean, look how thin that is. And you can save these for your little books. I think this frame might be a little bit too big for a pocket pad. I can check in a second. Pocket pad. Yeah, just a little bit too big for a pocket pad, but the little books and those sort of things, so I'm just putting that on the hook up there, that would be perfect for. Now I think I'm going to mix it up a little bit with this one, and I'm going to go for 2mm around the big frame. Just cut these in half. Enough. And then I'm probably going to put that little topper flat so that we've got the really big distance between the frame and the topper. But I might change my mind, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. So, did you guys all buy anything in the trolley dash, all the Christmas things? I have to confess I didn't. I still have some bits left over from last year and the year before, but I was really tempted with the penguin kit, because I really did enjoy that one, and it's such a look, you know, with the holographic foiling. It's holographic foiling, sorry. It just had such a lovely, made such lovely cards, whether you used them as they were supposed to be used or not. Just getting those pips. Okay. So whip these backs off, and like I say, these are the 2mm ones. And there's one more set with this one, which are more sort of square toppers, but I do want to have a little play with that pocket pad as well. So it's going to be at least 2 more videos with this. Oops, the back's still on there. Yeah, at least 2 more videos, and then I'm going to go on to that very beautiful black foiled kit, Stained Glass Wonderful Wildlife, and I'm going to do at least 4 or 5 videos of that as well. So this one I think will go want to come down a bit. Yeah, we'll come down a bit. There's that one. And then I'm thinking this one, so just a little bit of all-purpose glue is going to be perfect. I can maneuver that where I want that to go. Okay, that looks good. And then if I pop 2mm on the end of there, maybe one there. Yep, I think that's going to be good. Like I say, if you don't like how the sentiment goes on it, you can always look through your little book of sentiments and grab something that you think fits better. That's going to go into there. And then I do want some gems. I think I'm going to go with some gold ones, I think. Let's have a little look. I think gold against the blue is going to be really nice. Let me grab my little pick up tool, and I think let's just that out a bit. I think I'm going to have one on there. I'm going to have two on that side, and then maybe, so I'm not going to do anything with these sides because I think they're pretty enough. Don't want to take anything away from that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because it's going to take your eye around the card. So let's just pick that up. Move those out of the way a little bit. To there. These kind of look like them little gold buttons against the knitted. And that glue does dry clear, so it is a dries clear glue. But that is going to be my second card. For the insert, what I would normally do is cut 2 notches under the 5 by 2 notches under the 6, and pop that on the inside. So if I open it up, so you can see it would just go along this piece here. I just think that, I just find for myself anyway, by trying to cut into it that inch and a bit that on those 2 sides, it just always ends up messy or uneven. So if I just go 2 notches under 5, 2 notches under 6, it always seems to look a bit tidier, in my opinion anyway. So that is card number number 2. Oh, come on now. There we go, it does stand. And that's how that's going to look. So super pretty. I love this paper. I can see me using that elsewhere as well. That's card number 2. Let me just bring back card number 1. Ta-da! He's leaning forward a little bit, but like I say, it's just do that trick. There we go. So that is card number 2. Slightly different card with that one for you, the stand and pop. So it might be something that you're interested in doing. I think that learning to do these sort of pillars is a great thing, because there are so many different card types now that take one of those pillars. You know, you've got sort of cards where you've got 2 pillars at the side, or you've got cards that are literally just really 3 pillars together, obviously larger, and then, you know, decorated with your papers and such. So learning to do those pillars and be confident on them is a really great thing in terms of growing your card making skills and being able to attempt other cards that sometimes look a bit daunting, but when you break them down, they're not really that bad. And I'm hoping that, you know, like showing you how easy that one was today, hopefully, you'll be confident enough to give it a try, even if it's just with papers that you don't love, and see how it comes out, you know, scraps, so to speak. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.